What do you think of when you think of SeungWoo Choi? Like, what type of fighter do you think of when he pops in your mind? What do you visualize?
Fast, blitzy, likes to utilize range, kind of stays out at a far, kind of has that really karate style where his legs are wide, bouncy attack.
I think the same exact thing, a little less on the karate side, but I think the nickname is there for a reason. You call him Sting for a reason because he does his work at distance, and he's really, really good if he could walk you down and he can apply pressure. But when you put him on the back foot, we see a little bit of a discrepancy in terms of his fluency in his attacks. The chins go sky high, things start getting winged, and when I was looking at this fight, I was like, well, that's what Steve Garcia is going to do to you. All 15 minutes of this fight, he's going to be in your face and he's going to kill or be killed. That's his fight style right here. So I immediately think Steve Garcia, massive advantage. Then I look back at his last fight against Melky Costa and I say, oh, yeah. This man is really one of those violent type fighters, right? Does Sting Choi have the chin currently that we've seen like over the course of his last couple of fights? Has he exhibited the chin to make you trust in him being able to survive a firefight against Steve Garcia?
No. Not at all, Derek. I mean, I was looking at it right now, and the only loss by KO in his last 10 was his the Michael Trezano fight, right? And he's lost a couple others. There, he does have the power. He can lose a submission fight. There's ways in which he does, but with the way that Steve Garcia sets up his shots, right, controls the distance, lets you feigns you into a lure of safety at your distance you're at, and then hits you with a counter strike. That's where the knockouts come from for the Garcia side, right? That, like you're saying, that willingness to engage in that crazy style of fight, that right there, along with the pressure that Steve Garcia is going to put, I think is going to overwhelm SeungWoo Choi right here. And it's hard to say, man. I like Sting, but I do think Steve Garcia has all the technique and the timing to be able to get this fight done.
Garcia also fights at a much higher clip, right? If we're taking a look over here at the, not at this sheet, but if we pull up Steve Garcia and Sting Choi, 4.85 significant strikes landed per minute, 3.48. Now, of course, this number is going to be skewed because he had a fight where he just got a lot of shots off. It doesn't mean every fight is this way, but definitely skews the numbers. Is something to take into account. Also interesting, they're both the same height, man. I don't know why. For when I think Steve Garcia, I think a small, short guy, and he's not. He's a big guy, you know? So dangerous fighter, similar age right here, and he can also take you down as well, right? That's not particularly something that you're seeing in the bag of Sting Choi. I think it's as simple as this, man. I'm not saying that Choi doesn't have a chin, but we have seen him get kind of knocked around in a couple of his fights. He survives a lot of them, right? But we have seen it. So if that's going to be the play, and you're going to be presenting Steve Garcia, nothing more than I'm going to try to counter you and I'm trying to play the game of distance and find those shots. Can he find the counter shot? Absolutely. But I think that Steve Garcia is absolutely the play right here, and really interested to know what you think about that plus 120 TKO on the side of Garcia.
I was looking at it, Derek. I was very much looking at it. The problem is I could see Steve Garcia trying to find a different way because of the power that SeungWoo Choi presents. But man, if we're talking a short distance fight, right? First round and a half gets us into the second. I see a knockout coming.
7 of Steve Garcia's 8 last fights have been won via knockout. So it's hard for me to play the decision game, which is also interesting that it's plus 600 decision for Choi, plus 425 for Garcia. That was a number that really, really threw me off. I mean, everything here, everything on the prop side for Steve Garcia, aside from the TKO, just made me really, really take a step back and be like, hold on, why is Steve Garcia getting so much respect? Because I remember the day and age where Sting Choi was a real problem. So I'm just like, well, what happened to that, right? I think it's just a what have you done for me lately, though. You take a look at it, you know, you're 2-3 in your last 5. Garcia, he's definitely been fighting on a high caliber. So I think Steve Garcia is the play. I think the physicality is going to be too much and the power is going to be a little bit too much, but let's see what Choi has to offer. Do you got anything else on this one?
Nah, brother, this one's going to be a fun fight, folks. Don't blink. I'm expecting this one to end early.
But to enter round 2.
Not too early.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because that's the prop log, baby. Let's go.